Reporting from the nation's capital, I'm Jeff Begaze.
This is CBS News Flash. I'm Matt Piper in New York. At least 46 people have been found dead inside a tractor trailer near San Antonio, Texas, that had no working air conditioning. 16 others were taken to local hospitals, including children. It's believed to be a human smuggling operation. 3 people were taken into custody. Ghislaine Maxwell is set to be sentenced in Manhattan federal court. It's after she was found guilty of helping Jeffrey Epstein abuse girls between 1994 and 2004. Prosecutors say she deserves at least 30 years in prison. And Russia has scheduled a trial for Brittany Griner to begin Friday. The WNBA player has been held there since her February arrest at an airport over allegations of attempted drug smuggling. I'm Matt Piper, CBS News, New York.
It's Tuesday, June 28th, 2022. This is the CBS Morning News. Tragedy in Texas. Dozens of migrants are found dead inside a tractor trailer in San Antonio. We know right now about the presumed migrant smuggling operation. Deadly train derailment. 3 people were killed when an Amtrak train with hundreds on board collided with a truck. And surprise hearing. The committee investigating the January 6th riots at the Capitol announced a last-second hearing where they'll present what they say is new evidence. Well, good morning and good to be with you. I'm Anne-Marie Green. We begin with breaking news overnight. A horrific scene in Texas, highlighting just how desperate the situation at the southern border is. Officials say 46 people were found dead in and around a tractor trailer in San Antonio yesterday in what is an apparent human smuggling incident gone horribly wrong. More than a dozen others were hospitalized, including children. Ken Molestina of our Dallas-Fort Worth station, KTVT, is in San Antonio with more on this right now. What do we know?
San Antonio police say a city worker helped uncover the gruesome scene after hearing a cry for help near a tractor trailer on a remote back road. Officers say the worker looked inside the trailer and found a number of dead bodies.
We have processed approximately 46 bodies that have been triaged and tagged and declared deceased at this time. We're not supposed to open up a truck and see stacks of bodies in there. None of us come to work imagining that.
The incident appears to be the latest and one of the deadliest in decades, involving people trying to cross the border from Mexico.
The plight of migrants seeking refuge is always a humanitarian crisis, but tonight we are dealing with a horrific human tragedy.
4 children were among 16 people rescued and taken to area hospitals with heat-related injuries. Authorities say they were hot to the touch and dehydrated with no signs of water in the trailer.
If it's 100 outside, it goes for about 125 degrees inside without water, without air, without nothing. It's ridiculous. I just can't understand how drivers can do that.
Police say they may conduct another canine search in the nearby woods today just to be sure there are no additional bodies. Ken Molestina, CBS News, San Antonio, Texas.
Meanwhile, in Missouri, a terrifying scene for hundreds of people on an Amtrak train. 3 people were killed when the train collided with a dump truck, causing the train to derail and then tip over. Dina Demetrius has that story.
7 cars of this Amtrak passenger train derailed and tipped over after striking a dump truck in rural Missouri Monday afternoon.
There are multiple injuries, and we can confirm there are 3 fatalities. 2 on the train and 1 in the dump truck.
The train was traveling from Los Angeles to Chicago when it hit the truck at an uncontrolled crossing.
So no lights, no electronic control devices, things such as that.
More than 200 people were on board.
We know of 1 female under the train.
Images from inside show passengers trying to get out amid destruction.
You heard a loud noise.
Passenger Sherry Schwans recounted the heroics she saw during the chaos.
There was one gentleman who lifted all of us in our train car up through the ceiling, and another passenger grabbed us.
Helicopters carried victims to several local hospitals.
Anytime you have a derailment of a train and multiple cars, it's not a good day.
2 Boy Scout troops were on board. The group says one 15-year-old scout rendered aid on the dump truck driver until he died. The National Transportation Safety Board is sending a team team to investigate.
We've asked Amtrak if there's a forward-facing camera and internal-facing camera.
Officials say the track will be closed for a matter of days while the agency gathers evidence. Dina Demetrius, CBS News.
Well, the House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol made a surprise announcement. It's holding a previously unscheduled hearing today. The committee said that it will present recently obtained evidence and hear witness testimony. There is no word on who might be testifying or what the new evidence might be. The committee wasn't supposed to meet again until next month. Meanwhile, Attorney John Eastman, who allegedly helped former President Trump try to overturn the 2020 election results, says federal agents seized his cell phone. In a court filing, Eastman says that his phone was taken as he left a restaurant last week. We will bring you live coverage, of course, of today's January 6th committee hearing in a CBS News special report that is starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. And now to the fight over abortion rights after last week's decision by the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. In a letter to lawmakers yesterday, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Democrats want to pass legislation guaranteeing access to abortions. Pelosi also said Democrats are exploring ways to make sure that women can travel for abortions to states where it is still legal. And as demonstrators take to the streets in California, voters there will decide in November whether to guarantee the right to an abortion in their state. Yesterday, the state legislature voted to place a constitutional amendment on the ballot. Ghislaine Maxwell, the longtime companion of Jeffrey Epstein, will be sentenced today for her part in his sex abuse ring. The 60-year-old former British socialite was convicted in December of grooming and recruiting underage girls. Several of Maxwell's accusers will speak at today's sentencing hearing. Prosecutors want her to spend at least 30 years in prison. Maxwell's lawyers are asking for no more than 5 years. Meanwhile, a Russian court ordered WNBA star Brittany Griner to stand trial this Friday on cannabis possession charges. The 31-year-old appeared in court yesterday wearing handcuffs. She was also ordered to remain in custody for another 6 months, pending the outcome of her trial. Griner was arrested at a Moscow airport in February after Russian authorities said that they found cannabis vape cartridges in her luggage. She faces up to 10 years in prison if convicted. Ukraine's president is calling Russia's latest attack, quote, one of the most daring terrorist attacks in European history. Russian bombers struck a crowded shopping mall yesterday. The regional governor says that at least 18 people were killed and 60 injured. Ramy Inocencio has the story.
Thick black smoke billowed from this shopping center in the central Ukrainian city of Kremenchuk, the handiwork of Russian missiles. From inside, a man yelled to someone to follow him to safety, while outside, firefighters battled the flames and the wounded were loaded into ambulances. Just a day ago, residents of Ukraine's capital of Kyiv watched as a barrage of Russian rockets glided over buildings, hitting a kindergarten playground and this apartment complex. 6 people were hurt, including this 7-year-old girl and her Russian mother. Her father died. Against this latest backdrop of Russia's 4-month-old war in Ukraine, leaders of the G7 countries meeting in the German Alps pledged even more retribution against the Kremlin. While NATO, its leaders meeting later this week in Spain, said it would increase to more than 300,000 the level of high readiness troops, part of its biggest defense overhaul since the Cold War. And as Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky called for yet more modern and effective defenses from the international community. Some have started to arrive. These destroyed Russian military trucks near the Kharkiv front line are thought to be from the first strikes of U.S.-supplied guided rocket systems known as HIMARS that made their way into Ukraine just days ago. But not in time to turn the tide for the eastern city of Severodonetsk. Ukraine ordered a retreat over the weekend, handing the city to Russian forces.
That was Ramy Inocencio reporting. Now, coming up, faith in football. The Supreme Court rules in a case over prayer on a school football field. And then later, pilots hit the picket line. Why Delta pilots are holding protests across the country this week. This is the CBS Morning News. A very rare sight in the Netherlands. Take a look at this tornado that's touched down yesterday. It killed 1 person and wounded 10 others. The twister ripped the roofs off several homes and knocked down trees in a fishing town about 90 miles southwest of Amsterdam. A man is accused of assaulting Rudy Giuliani in a supermarket, and the Supreme Court handed down a decision on prayer at school. Those are some of the headlines on the morning newsstand. The Washington Post reports the Supreme Court ruled in favor of a former Washington State high school football coach who knelt and prayed after games at midfield. Coach Joseph Kennedy lost his job after the school district told him to stop praying with students on the field. Well, he sued, claiming that it violated his constitutional rights.
That's the way it started out for me, was just a moment of silent prayer by myself. I have no intentions of going back and wanting to pray with kids. It's just wanting the ability to thank God after a football game.
In a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court said the coach's on-field prayers were protected by the Constitution's guarantees of free speech and religious exercise. The Wall Street Journal says a grocery store employee who allegedly slapped Rudy Giuliani on the back was charged with assault. It happened Sunday at a New York City grocery store while the 78-year-old former mayor was campaigning for his son, who's running for governor. The employee, 39-year-old Daniel Gill, was jailed for more than 24 hours and then released. His attorney says he merely patted Giuliani, but police say the suspect cursed at Giuliani while slapping him. And our San Diego affiliate KFMB says a $300 million yacht owned by a Russian oligarch arrived in San Diego after being seized by the U.S. The 348-foot yacht was seized by the Department of Justice off the coast of Fiji last month. It's part of a campaign to take control of Russian oligarchs' property and assets in order to pressure Moscow after the invasion of Ukraine. The Justice Department said the oligarch who owns the yacht is a beneficiary of Russian corruption. And still to come, a new altitude for Tom Cruise. His new movie, Top Gun Maverick, reaches a milestone at the worldwide box office. Here's a look at today's forecast in some cities around the country. A man jumped into action when a 14-foot crocodile threatened his village in Indonesia. He wrangled the reptile using just rope and then called wildlife officials. The crocodile had been roaming the area for at least 2 days, frightening villagers. The croc was later released back into the wild in a less populated area. Social Security recipients could be seeing more money soon to help cope with inflation, and Top Gun Maverick hits a big money milestone. Matt Piper has today's Money Watch report.
Stocks ended down after a day of wavering between gains and losses Monday as the market cools off following a rare winning week. The Dow lost 62 points, the Nasdaq down 83, S&P 500 losing 11. Get ready for the possibility of more money in your Social Security check. Millions of U.S. seniors and others who receive the benefits are on track for a cost of living adjustment near 11%. That's according to a new analysis from the Nonpartisan Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. By comparison, a Social Security official earlier this month said he expects a bump of about 8% based on the current inflationary trends. The agency's cost of living adjustment takes effect in December, with the updated benefits paid out beginning in January. You might see some delayed flights with Delta Thursday. That's because hundreds of pilots plan to picket, demanding a pay increase and that the carrier change their schedules to reduce flight disruptions. Now, they are set to be off-duty pilots that hit the picket line, and it's happening at airports in Atlanta, Detroit, Los Angeles, Minneapolis, New York, Seattle, and Salt Lake City. And it is good to be Tom Cruise. Top Gun Maverick is now the first film in the actor's more than 40-year career to reach $1 billion at the box office. Top Gun Maverick is a production of Paramount Pictures, which, like CBS News, is part of Paramount Global. That is your CBS Money Watch report for this Tuesday morning. I'm Matt Piper, CBS News, New York.
Well, a blow to the Biden administration as a federal appeals court will reconsider its own ruling on COVID vaccine mandates. In April, the court allowed the White House requirement that federal employees be vaccinated against COVID. That impacted more than 3.5 million federal executive branch workers. But now a temporary block on that mandate will go into place while the court reconsiders the case. And up next, allegations against the Houston Texans. A lawsuit is filed against the NFL team, accusing it of turning a blind eye to the actions of former player Deshaun Watson. Here's a look at today's forecast in some cities around the country. The NBA's free agency period kicks off in just 2 days, but it looks like one of the league's biggest stars won't be going anywhere. Kyrie Irving has opted into the final year of his contract with the Brooklyn Nets. After much speculation that he was going to be traded, Irving will make more than $36 million this season. And a lawsuit has been filed against the NFL's Houston Texans. It accuses the team of failing to take action after being informed about sexual misconduct accusations against former quarterback Deshaun Watson. The lawsuit was filed by one of the 24 women who sued Watson. It alleges team management turned a blind eye and enabled Watson, who has denied any wrongdoing. The Houston Texans say that they're cooperating with law enforcement in connection with all investigations involving Watson. Meanwhile, there's a disciplinary hearing today to determine whether Watson violated the NFL's personal conduct policy. Reports have suggested the NFL might seek a year's suspension for the Browns quarterback. And we are remembering veteran TV actress Mary Mara. Police say that she apparently died by accident while swimming. The body of the 61-year-old was found Sunday in the St. Lawrence River in upstate New York near the Canadian border. Mara was best known for her roles on ER, Ray Donovan, and Dexter, and had a career spanning more than 30 years. And coming up only on CBS Mornings, the first television interview with John Hinckley Jr., the man who tried to assassinate President Ronald Reagan 41 years ago. I'm Anne-Marie Green. This is the CBS Morning News.
Someplace new? Yeah, you do.
Just follow me. I'll lead the way.
Welcome to CBS Morning.
See something new. It's a feast for the eyes.
Yeah, look at it. Learn something new. I think this is so fun.
Meet someone new.
Look who we just found hanging in the green room.
How about that? This is going to be awesome. I cannot wait.
There's always something new under the sun.
CBS Mornings, weekdays on CBS.
Our top stories this morning: 46 people were found dead in and around a tractor trailer in San Antonio in a suspected migrant smuggling operation. At least 16 others were hospitalized with heat-related illnesses, including 4 children. Temperatures in San Antonio yesterday topped 100 degrees. And the House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol is holding a previously unscheduled hearing today. The committee made the surprise announcement yesterday, saying that it will present recently obtained evidence and hear witness testimony. There is no word on who might be testifying or what the new evidence might be. Going off the grid while traveling is increasing in popularity. More Americans want to disconnect from virtual life and connect with nature and those who really matter. Wendy Gillette reports on the trend from the Amazon in Brazil.
These are the sounds of the Amazon. A few hours after leaving the city of Manaus in northwest Brazil on a rainforest cruise, we're aboard Amazon Nature Tours Motor Yacht Tucano for a reduced rate. There's no cell phone service or Wi-Fi for most of the trip, which takes up to 16 passengers out for as long as a week.
Very first reaction is shock and concern, soon followed by deep relief. And people really enjoy having an opportunity to disconnect.
A recent survey by the luxury network Virtuoso found 92% of travel advisors say their clients are bringing health, wellness, and self-care into their trips this year. And 29% prioritize digital detoxing, even more than diet programs or beauty treatments.
They begin to appreciate more external things instead of simply, the internal echo that we all suffer with.
The Amazon trip takes unplugged travelers on guided excursions deep into the rainforest. Whoa! There's fishing for piranhas. Can I touch it?
Yeah.
Which become the night's main course.
Amazon!
There's also the opportunity to take a dip in the Rio Negro River, the largest blackwater river in the world. You don't have to trek somewhere as exotic as the Amazon to take a break from technology.
You can make any trip a digital detox, whether it's close to home or far away. All you have to do is turn off your electronic devices and make the commitment to separate from the world.
And whether you're choosing the digital detox or it's imposed by the remote location, the idea is to return renewed with a clearer perspective. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, the Amazon, Brazil.
Well, coming up only on CBS Mornings, the first television interview with John Hinckley Jr., the man who tried to assassinate President Ronald Reagan 41 years ago. Hinckley speaks with Major Garrett about the shooting, why he believes he is not a threat today. Plus, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton talks with Gayle King in her first on-camera interview about the Supreme Court's abortion ruling. And billionaire investor Mark Cuban stops by the Times Square studio to tell us about his new online pharmacy. That's the CBS Morning News for this Tuesday. Thanks for watching. I'm Anne-Marie Green. Have a great day.
Welcome to CBS Morning.
Up next, stories you'll be talking about today. That's a big deal.
People stop me on the street and say, I always learn something new every day when I watch your show.
This morning, we're going to begin with some good news.
CBS Mornings, weekdays on CBS. CBS Mornings, weekdays on CBS.